Welcome to Chatting Shit with Ostique, the podcast series where we chat shit with inspiring people from all walks of life. Today we are joined by the wonderful and inspiring Lauren Wood. We hope that you enjoy this conversation. Lauren, welcome to Chatting Shit with Ostique. Thank you so much for being here. Why don't we start with perhaps you introducing yourself and you telling us a little bit about how you came to have your stoma?
So obviously I'm Lauren, I'm 32. I got my stoma when I was 21. I have an ileostomy. The reason why I got my stoma, well, before that was because they originally thought I had Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They were like almost sure that that was what my diagnosis was. And then I didn't officially get that diagnosis. I can delve into that. Basically, I've been in hospital for quite a while and I was due a colonoscopy after they had taken my appendix out, and they had noticed that my insides were obviously very ulcerated and sore and everything like that. So they woke me up after taking my appendix out and they said that they wanted to do a colonoscopy to take a biopsy to check whether 100% it's Crohn's disease or not. Time went on while I was in hospital and basically they ended up cancelling my colonoscopy multiple times due to the fact that there was emergencies coming in and stuff. So I ended up discharging myself, which I highly regret. And I ended up having the colonoscopy done as an outpatient. And they basically said that they couldn't see anything that was causing my issues, basically, and sort of like palmed me away almost. But like a couple of months before that, they were like almost sure that I had Crohn's disease. So after that, I was almost like fighting for a diagnosis to find out what was wrong with me. And I just kept getting palmed away. And I ended up finally being seen at St Mark's Hospital, the specialist hospital in London. And that's when they told me that I had Hirschsprung disease. Quite rare, like really rare. You're normally born with you're born with it, and normally they detect it at birth, but mine wasn't detected till I was at least 19, 20. And I think that that's what's to do with the fact that how bad my bowel got, if that makes sense, and the reason why I ended up needing the stoma, because it was so severe, the symptoms I was dealing with, like the bloating and the not opening my bowels for like, I think the maximum I went was about 5 months without no bowel movement. Which was, and I was just on laxatives constantly and nothing was coming out of me, and I was so bloated I almost looked like 6 months pregnant. And eventually, finally, someone listened to me. I was told that I didn't need surgery at one point. And then when I finally went to St Mark's and saw somebody and got them to listen, they said that we can try giving you a stoma bag to see if this gives you a better quality of life. My bowel was almost like on the brink of, it was so compacted, if that makes sense. It was on the brink of like bursting. That's a little bit of the reason why I got my stoma bag.
Wow. And for anybody listening who doesn't know about Hirschsprung disease, can you give us kind of a little bit of information about that?
Basically, how do I describe it? Obviously, I'm not very good at putting words together. It's basically where the nerves are not, how was I described? Basically, this is how the consultant described it to me. Your colon is obviously like this. And then when you obviously open your bowels, it stretches to like obviously go to the toilet. Mine just sort of stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched, and then eventually giving me like nerve damage. And then the cells are like missing when you're born in the bowel or something like that. She explained to me, which is like the background of Hirschsprung disease. I'm not 100% on that diagnosis myself anyway. I don't know, part of me thinks it could be wrong and that it is Crohn's disease and why I'm suffering so much, because I'm not really being treated for anything, if that makes sense. Like my medication I take is just almost to hide symptoms, like pain relief, anti-sickness, all those sort of things.
So despite having your surgery, you are still having to take medication?
Yeah, I'm on morphine daily, unfortunately, and I did think that after my stoma that there'd be a time that I would be off of pain relief and pain free, but I'm not, unfortunately. I don't know why really. They did say that the the pain could still stay there and you could still have quite a few issues because of your diagnosis with your disease. I would get like blockages on a regular when I didn't have my stoma. So now I have it, I get them quite a bit, and I was expecting that, but it's still difficult to deal with.
And after you had your surgery, I mean, obviously you've just said that you're still in pain, but what was that recovery like for you, both physically and mentally?
But after my stoma, or
after your stoma surgery,
I struggled. I won't lie. My first year was difficult. Like I didn't have my family support or anything, and had my ex-partner at the time who kind of did really everything for me. He emptied it. He changed it. He'd come home from work. I'd ring him and he'd be like, "I can't empty it. Could you come home?" And he would. And then just one day, I suddenly just did it myself and didn't look back. But I did deal with a lot of leakages. Was one of my big issues at the beginning, and my skin was raw, like really raw, and I could barely put a bag on it, and it was like 10 leaks a day plus. And my stitches also split open, and I ended up being on antibiotics for about 6 months. I got to the stage where I just wouldn't sort of leave the house because I was just too embarrassed. I thought that people would either smell it because it was leaking, or people would realise I had one. And I'm trying to think when it all changed. It must have been after about a year. I just suddenly started emptying it myself and didn't look back, and just thought that I've got the confidence to do this myself now. I can do it. If you know what I mean? Like, it does at the beginning, you don't feel like you're going to get that confidence, but you do. It comes, maybe like not straight away, but it does eventually, and it becomes your norm. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a turning point after kind of living with it for a while and adjusting. And would you say that there was a point of acceptance for you?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that was in the first year either. Even though I was doing better and I was leaving the house and emptying everything, I would say I only fully accepted it probably about 5 years ago. Really? Yeah, it took a while for me to fully accept it and be like, this is what I've got attached to me. This is what I'm going to have to deal with every day.
Do you remember what made that shift? Was there something that happened or not?
It might be. Thinking about it, it could have been like meeting my current partner. My ex-partner would sort of be like, if you don't want to do it, Lauren, don't do it. Whereas my current partner's like, no, you can do it, Lauren. You can do this, you can get out, you can do this, you've got the confidence. So I think meeting him weirdly gave me that confidence to be myself. I'd only been with my ex-partner the whole time I had my stoma. So having someone else find me attractive with it gave me that boost. I think, without sounding like I'm talking badly of my ex or anything, because he was great, obviously, but...
Interesting. So when you met your new partner, how did you bring it into conversation that you had a stoma, or like how did that kind of materialize?
We weren't like officially dating or anything. We were just sort of like going out for coffee and chatting and stuff like that. And I brought it into conversation then and said, look, I just thought I'd let you know, because sometimes I use a walking aid, and he would have seen that, so he would have known something wasn't quite right, but he just didn't know what it was. Mm-hmm. So I went into him like almost on a second coffee date type thing about it, and it surprised me, actually. I was shocked how understanding and caring he was about it. I didn't expect that. And I don't want to speak badly of boys, but you know, they can be a bit sort of shallow sometimes. And I just thought, I don't know, I thought he was going to be shallow about it, but he wasn't. He went and looked it up on the internet and everything and sort of tried to get to know what it was about. And it hasn't stopped our relationship at all, I would say, no.
And where did he have questions, and was he comfortable kind of asking that? Or as you said, he did a lot of kind of his own research?
Like, he saw what it looked like not under the bag, just the bag itself. Obviously, he's seen my stoma now. But no, he just sort of, no, it was like it wasn't serious. He was really unfazed by it, which shocked me a little bit, because you would think, like, I'd be like, oh, what's that? What does that do? Like, why have you got that? Like, he didn't really sort of ask any questions about like what was wrong with me as such at the beginning. When we got into a relationship, obviously, he now sees what I deal with and stuff like that. So
Amazing. Well, great guy. No, I love that. And speaking, something that you kind of have talked about quite openly and authentically on your social media is kind of your fertility journey.
yeah.
And we as women, I think it's really important to kind of have those conversations, whatever kind of your preference and kind of whether you want children or not. And I was wondering whether you could kind of say, like, was your fertility issues related to your stoma, or how did you know to kind of check and how that evolved?
Well, I was never, when I first got my stoma, I was never told that having this done would affect my fertility. That was never a conversation between me and my consultant whatsoever. They never asked me if I wanted children. They never asked me anything about it at all. It was before my stoma. It was only a couple of years before, and I got diagnosed with polycystic ovaries. And that's when I realised, when I looked into that does affect your fertility. But I didn't think it would like hinder me that much, if you know what I mean. I didn't think that I wouldn't like be in the situation of having to have IVF. I hadn't tried before with my ex-partner to have a baby or anything, so it's only been with my partner. And we found out that both of us have like infertility and problems in that aspect. But no, before that I wasn't really told about my stoma or anything being affecting it. I don't think it affects it now. They were great with me. My consultant said to me, like, you can do this with your stoma. Okay, I haven't had many patients with one, but you can do this. It's not going to affect your chances or anything. So I assumed that the only reason why it didn't work was because of my diagnoses with my gynecological issues and then my partner's issues.
I'm really sorry to hear that, but it is positive in the sense that you can still, there are options with or without having your stoma, and as you said, when it came to like the nurses giving you advice kind of with injections, did that interfere at all with your stoma, or as you say, like it just nothing to do with the other?
Well, I couldn't. You could either inject in your stomach or your leg. I chose my stomach just because I've got more fat to hold to put the needle in. But I couldn't do it on my right side because of my stoma, so I ended up having to inject all on my left, which made my left side more sore than it probably would have if I like gone from side to side. The side effects of the injections were a bit rough at times. I went from a needle phobia, not being able to even look at it, to injecting myself. So I'm pretty proud of myself for doing it. It's the first time I've ever self-injected. I've had injections in hospital and stuff, but never to myself. But my partner, he injected myself. He injected me at the beginning and stuff, so to get me started.
Amazing strength, and as you say, to go from like having a phobia to being able to do that, really, what an achievement.
To look back on it happened so quickly as well. It was such a long process. I was referred in like 2021. Yeah, 2021. And then I only just done the treatment and the cycle this year. So it took a good 3 years to get there. And then it just happened so quickly, like a month, 2 months, and you've done the medication, you've had the surgery to remove your eggs, you've had the embryo transfer if you get that far. And then, yeah, it's a long process. It's hard, obviously, because mine didn't work, but I don't know, I'm holding on hope that I can go again at some stage.
I really hope so. I really do hope so. And other, you have also demonstrated a lot on your socials, kind of other kind of traumatic events and traumas that you have encountered. But at the same time, you kind of discussed, like, in the midst of all that pain that you have had to endure, that you have found all of this strength to kind of overcome things you didn't think you could. I was wondering if you can kind of talk a bit about that, and how, you found that within.
To be honest, when I look back on like all the things I have gone through, I do try to figure out how I get through them. I don't know. Sometimes I cry a lot, and that sounds like bad advice, but I do feel like crying and letting it out does help me personally, and documenting it, whether it's posted or not. It's difficult. Like I don't really know how I've got through things. I look back on it and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer that one. Yeah, I do find speaking to people online, I would find it better to meet people that have been through the same as me. I haven't had the chance to do that, but I do speak to a lot of people online, and I find that knowing people understand what I've gone through and finding other people that have gone through the same does make you feel less alone, definitely.
Yeah, totally. And the mental health support, I think you've also documented the help you got. How did you find access to that? Was it related to having your stoma, and were you able to find help in that regard to like support you mentally?
Well, I've been in like therapy and on medication since I was a teenager, after enduring some tough things when I was a lot younger. And I didn't get any help for about 8 years after I went through what I did when I was 10. And finally, I kept avoiding the help that was being given to me. Like people phoning me and trying to get me in for therapy, and friends telling me I'm not okay, and I was just ignoring it. And then one day it was just a bit too much mentally for me, and yeah, I ended up finally seeking the help that I needed and going to therapy, getting medication. Over here, I would say the mental health is quite bad compared to England as such. Over here, I feel like I'm struggling to get heard. I'm struggling to get the help. I am under like psychologists and stuff, but trying to get them to get an appointment in place, and everything with COVID as well, everything was like on the phone, and I did struggle quite a bit the last few years. And I find that what I've just been going through with the IVF there's been no support at all, like zero. I haven't had a phone call from anybody. I haven't had like, I'm sorry it didn't work. We've not forgotten you. We'll see you soon. Or even having in place like a support line that you can phone if you are going through IVF and it's failed, or even if it's not failed, because it's a hard thing to go through. And not everybody has the support to talk to somebody. But yeah, I do feel like speaking to someone does help. Speaking to a stranger probably more helpful than speaking to somebody I know.
Yeah, I feel that, and because you do a lot on social media to really raise awareness, and building that community, has that been really helpful?
Yeah, there's a certain individuals that I follow on Instagram and stuff that I would say have like really helped me with my journey at the start. At the beginning, like I had a few people online that were sort of almost bullying a little bit, saying that they were saying that I was lying about having a stoma. And at the beginning of my journey, I know I couldn't even come to terms with it. It was hard hearing that and having to try and prove to other people that I was sick. And there was a few people that did help me through that, and I saw like their journeys and showing their scars and showing their stoma bags, and they have helped me like come to terms with it almost.
That's really positive. And you've also talked about doing things that you thought were never possible, that you just think you would have the strength to do. I wonder if you can talk about some of those things that you have done.
Well, I've moved. It's a big one. I moved countries. Okay, yes, it's still part of the UK, but I still moved over 500 miles away from my hometown, and I haven't lived anywhere else but London, really. So being over here is a big step for me, and I can't fathom that I done it, because it's not like me. I would never do something like that.
Where is
Northern Ireland, Belfast. But yeah, it's different. It's a lot slower paced than London, and everyone's friendly. But yeah, I do miss my hometown, just like my dad and my friends. But over here is different. I say, yeah, different.
You've posted quite a lot of sort of like bikinis and lingerie, which is like super. I mean, they're beautiful, beautiful things. Where's that confidence come from?
Yeah, because like I couldn't even look at it, so I'm shocked that I could take a photo and put it on the internet. To be honest, I am surprised. I don't know. I just started sort of when I was off work during COVID due to having to shield, and I don't know. I just thought to myself, I'm seeing so many other people talk about their journeys. Why don't I join in? So I decided to like start my Instagram up, and it started with like just talking about it at first, and then I thought, you know what, sod it. Why should I hide my stoma bag? Why should I pretend like it's not there when it's such a big part of my life? So I thought, why not? Okay, yeah, I did get backlash from certain people, but majority of it is positive, and people constantly message me saying, oh, I wish I could do that, or you're really brave, or you're inspirational. But yeah, it was just suddenly thought. I went on holiday in 2022, and that was the first time I've been out in public with my stoma since having it. So I'd had it like 8 years at that point, and it felt like I just had got my stoma because I'd not been out in public yet. I was all like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And my partner just said to me, just hold your head high and walk out. So that's what I done. And I just literally walked out to the poolside, and that was it. No one was fazed by it at all. I got in the swimming pool, I swam, everything. Like, yeah, I was surprised that no one sort of was expecting people to be maybe a bit, why she got that out for, but no one was fazed. If anything, everyone was sort of like, well done on you for doing it. So, and I'm proud of myself for doing that as well, because I was really, really scared actually to go out to the pool. Even after.
Actually, when you do go on holiday, you said that was the first time you'd kind of left the UK. Did you have any concerns or thoughts as to like access to product or what you would need to bring with you? Like, how did you kind of manage to make sure you prepared?
I didn't get any insurance. I couldn't actually get insured, so I just took the risk and hoped that I wouldn't need help while I was over there. But we didn't fly, we drove. I didn't physically drive, someone else did. And we went through France, and we went on the boat, and then we drove from France into Spain. So it was quite challenging. I think I would have preferred to fly. I think that would have been easier, because I've flown from Belfast to England, and I know I can do that. I know it's not as far, but I did find it quite difficult, especially with access to toilets on the road. Like when we were driving, and I couldn't go to the toilet, and then 10 minutes later I need to go to the toilet again, and we were trying to find a toilet, and that was quite challenging at times. But apart from that, I took enough supplies with me. I made sure that I took more than enough, if that makes sense. And because I didn't have a limit on what I could take, because we had the car, I could just put everything in there that I needed.
How come you decided to drive and not fly?
My partner's mum is terminal, so she couldn't fly with her oxygen, so we had to drive. So that was only the main reason. Otherwise, we probably would have flown. But it was an experience. Yeah, very, very experienced. I've never been to France. We didn't really stop off in France very long. We only stayed there one night. But yeah, that was my first holiday in about 10 years. Yeah, I hadn't been away for a long time. And my first time away with a stoma. So.
Well done you. And like, you did it. Have you been away since?
No, I haven't been away since, unfortunately. I'd like to go. I wouldn't let it stop me. I wouldn't let it stop me going on holiday. I took I was on like Pro-Cal and Ensure drinks and stuff, because my weight was very low. All that with me as well. And so I ended up taking quite a bit. And then obviously I had my mother-in-law as well. So I think the car was full of medical supplies in the end.
Interesting point though that you said about insurance. Because I wouldn't necessarily think about that. How did that come about, and what did they say? Like,
I didn't physically speak to anybody, but like I went online and tried to get like a quote from different people, and like they were just like outright refusing to even give me a quote, if that makes sense. There was no like price or anything. It was like, we can't insure you. My partner's mum could have got insured, but she would have been insured for like more than the holiday cost. It was like $3,000. And I'm surprised that she was able to get a quote, but I wasn't. I don't know why I didn't get one. Maybe I didn't look in and enough like companies to try and get one, but I did about 3 or 4, and they just said, sorry, we can't insure you.
Was that because you have a stoma bag?
I'm not 100%. Maybe it was because I'd had recent admissions, and the questions being asked were like, have you had surgery in this amount of time? How long have you had this situation? And obviously I end up putting in maybe I shouldn't have put in everything in. Maybe if I took some stuff out, I might have got insured. But obviously you have to be honest with what's wrong, because if you do need the hospital when you're there. But no, I couldn't. It wouldn't put me off going again. I do really need to obviously get insurance if I do go on holiday, though. Just have quite complex health. But
when you were dressing in your bikinis, did you have to kind of find alternative places to shop, or you just thought, screw it, I'm just gonna?
No, I haven't really changed aspect in what I wear. The only thing I can't wear properly, and I struggle with, is jeans. But I don't know if that will be for everybody. I only struggle with wearing jeans because of the pain that I'm in my tummy all the time. I feel like it's restricted, but that's not due to my stoma. I wouldn't say the position of my stoma or my stoma bag is affecting what I wear. It's more of the pain. So I would I wouldn't even wear a high-waisted bikini. I would wear a normal one, have the bag out.
Love that. I love that. And I guess, there is a lot of light and a lot of wonderful things that, you've moved, you've gone on holiday, you've found all this confidence, you are taking pictures, you are just out there, putting yourself out there to help the community. I wonder if we can kind of ask you, what would you say to somebody who has stoma surgery coming up?
I would say make sure that you take your time. Don't rush your healing journey and trying to get out there and do things. Take your time for your body to adjust to what you've just had done. Obviously, everybody can be in hospital for different periods of time after their stomas. So obviously, once you're home, just make sure that you, take your time. Don't overdo things. Speak to other people that are in the same situations. You reach out to those people. Even if you're having stoma surgery, reach out to myself and I will help you as much as I possibly can. But there are so many lovely people in the stoma community and IBD community and chronic illness, and they'll be there for you. You're not alone, basically. Yeah.
Amazing, Lauren. Thank you so much. Are there any kind of final thoughts that you want to share or give?
That you can still be worthy, and you're worthy of being loved, and you're beautiful just as you are. Doesn't change whether you're disabled or you've got a stoma bag or a catheter bag, whatever it is. You are beautiful as you are.
I love that. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful and authentic guest, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Have you seen the new Ostique skins yet? Ostique skins are revolutionary ostomy pouch covers that were created to make the wearer feel confident, sexy and powerful in all of life's moments. From moments of intimacy to lounging by the pool, conquering a workout or simply heading out to lunch, skins have you covered. Even better, they're compatible with all major colostomy and ileostomy bags. Ostique skins are available in a range of colours and skin tones, and they're made from a revolutionary material that's completely waterproof, high quality, soft and comfortable. Skins are easy to use, even with reduced dexterity, and they work with both closed and drainable bags. Plus, skins are also environmentally friendly and vegan. There are 4 bundles available to buy now, and you can also purchase individual skins. Head to ostique.co.uk to find out more.